welcome to part 2 of my favorite video game list per year of all time. And for 95, what the GameSpot and all the producers, I'm gonna keep saying that. I got two honorable mentions. Two runner-ups and a winner. The first one they picked is, the second one they picked is Yoshi's Island, which is Super Mario World 2. That's a good game. Yoshi's trying to save Baby Mario and save him and all that shit. And then you got Donkey Kong Country 2, a game that's not as good as the first to me personally, but the second one innovated and added a lot more from the first, and people will say DK2 is better, but not me personally, just because I don't like some of the level designs in this game, but that's just me. And number one, what they picked is surprisingly Mortal Kombat 3. I grew up with this game back in the day, fun game, crazy shit, and it's Mortal Kombat. It's what you expect. That's all I gotta say. Alright, and now I'm gonna get to my list. So I got 3 runner-ups and no honorable mentions, and let's go. My third runner-up is Donkey Kong Country 2. Good shit. Just like I said, not as good as the first to me, but I like it a lot. And probably an 8 out of 10 overall for that game. 8 or 7. But yeah, I'm gonna be like the minority in that one, by the way. And then number 2 is Tekken 2. Tekken 2 is really fun, memorable. I love Tekken. And yeah, I can't spoil anymore after that. It's Tekken 2. What do you expect? I love Tekken. And then my number 1 runner-up is Mortal Kombat 3. There's a lot of good memories. This is where I first saw Shao Kahn in a Mortal Kombat game, because I never played 1 or 2, so this is the first one I ever played. And yeah, it's just memorable. Good nostalgic fun. And my number 1 for 95 is gonna be Mega Man X3. I actually like this game more than Mega Man X1, just because I like the mechanics of it more. But overall, the presentation, music, all that stuff, it's way better than the first, but it's more fun to play the third, so I'm always like balancing the two. I think I like this one just a little more. It's a badass game. Highly recommend it. Mega Man X3. Let's get to 1996. To 1996. So in 1996, what basically everyone and their mother agreed on, like everyone agreed with this, like everyone, that for this year that Super Mario 64 should have won this year. And honestly, that's a really good pick, because Super Mario 64 back in the day, it did so much to innovate and to show people like a brand new 3D platformer game. It was like insane, and it still holds up to this day. So let's see what Tom Wolf picked for his list, and that's the only one I got. No arguments, no runner-ups for that. It was just Mario 64. That's just easily game of the year. There's no like fucking debate. That's just a majority in 96 to me. Alright, so I got 1 honorable mention, 3 runner-ups, and yeah, okay. So my honorable mention is Zoombinis, because in school I was required to play Zoombinis for one of my classes. I forgot what it was. I was like in grade 1 or grade 2, and I was like, yeah, that was a fun-ass class to play Zoombinis. I loved it. And I think it still holds up to this day. I thought gameplay of it's funny. He's got a it almost reminds me of Pikmin in a way, but I could be totally wrong, but I don't know. It was just fun. It was like a lot of evaluating shit. Anyways, my top 3 runner-ups is number 3, Kirby Superstar. This game was a lot better than I thought it was gonna be, and I like the mini games. I like the Samurai Showdown a lot. Did that for my channel. Finally beat Meta Knight. It's a memorable game. I really like it, and a lot of references to Smash Bros in that game too. So that was a cool one. And my number 2 runner-up is surprisingly Super Mario 64. I could agree for it being number 1, but I like these 2 upcoming games more that I picked. But Mario 64 is just, it's a game not to mess with. It's an innovator. I really like it, but here's my boy. My number 1 runner-up is Tekken 3. You can't beat Tekken 3 for me. That's my first PlayStation fighting game. That's just, it's too good. It's my second PlayStation fighting game, but that's the one I truly had the most fun playing with my friends and dad and all that stuff, was Tekken 3. Like, that one was just amazing. And my number 1 of all time is my boy, Crash Bandicoot. Whoa. That's all I have to say. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yazzie loves it, I love it, B-Wolf loves it. Whoa, 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 whoa. And there's my background of whoa, whoa, whoa. Crash Bandicoot's too cool. Love it. And there you go. It's just Crash. Crash is better than Mario to me. I agree with that. Crash is better than fucking Mario. That's just a fact. You're wrong if you don't agree with it. I'm kidding. I like Crash more. Anyways, let's get to 97. Here I am. And let's get to 1997. Let's do it. So this is what the general public usually agree with. The second runner-up for this year is surprisingly Mario Kart 64. And let me tell you, a lot of people like Mario Kart 64. When I play it, I don't like it at all. I think it's weird. I don't like it too much for some reason. I just think it's okay, honestly. It's not a bad game, but I way prefer Super Mario Kart and other Mario Karts over this. This is actually one of my worst Mario Kart games. There's something weird about this game. I can't describe it, but the music in it is phenomenal, obviously. But that's really it. The first runner-up was Final Fantasy VII. I'm very surprised the general public didn't think this game should have won, to be honest. I'm very surprised, just personally, because everyone raves about Final Fantasy VII, remake or original or whatever. People rave about this game, so I'm surprised it wasn't number one, because I saw a lot of different sources picking this number one, and that is GoldenEye 007. A lot of critics and reviewers tend to agree that GoldenEye 007 is Game of the Year. I just think that's really interesting. I like it more than Final Fantasy VII personally, but I'm just surprised. I'm just very surprised as well. So, yeah. Let's get to my 1997 list. I got 4 honorable mentions, 3 runner-ups, and the winner. Oh, man. Alright, so honorable mentions are Backyard Baseball. Had a lot of fun back in the day on the computer playing this game. Fun shit. And then my second one was Shadow Warrior. Shadow Warrior scared the crap out of me as a kid. There was like these like witch enemies that like pop up in your face, and oh man, this one's just like a memorable game. No one will ever know this game, Shadow Warrior. It's something. My third honorable mention is Sonic R. Not even a runner-up, right? But the soundtrack, golden soundtrack. I love the Sonic R soundtrack. Yeah, I mean, I talk about Sonic R a lot. I got the Tails stuff. I'll show a picture of it because it's the fucking Tails stuff. He's got the glasses on and everything. Okay, so that's it. And then I picked Final Fantasy VII. Not even a runner-up because I haven't played it. Like, I played like half an hour of it. It's really good, but I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to it because RPGs are really hard to go back to, but I really appreciate the game. It's cool for what it is. And now let's go to my 3 runner-ups. My third one is going to be Dynasty Warriors. This is the first game I played for PlayStation. Not Tekken 3, this one. Dynasty Warriors. Killer soundtrack. Really reminds me of the Mega Man X soundtrack. And yeah, this is a Tom pick, but man, what a memorable fighting game. That's all I'm gonna say. And then my second, even though B-Wolf's not gonna agree, is Crash Bandicoot 2. That's my second runner-up. So it's third this year. It's Crash Bandicoot 2. It's good. It tried to improve from the first. I just think the first is better. Because it's a fact. That's it. The first is better. It's just a fact. And also 3 and 4. Okay. Anyways, and my number 1 runner-up is NFL Blitz, where it's a sports game. And it's like, you could have picked a sports game over Crash Bandicoot? And I'm like, I guess I did. Because this sports game, once you tackle your opponent, you can keep tackling them on the ground until like the next play starts, and it's just hilarious. You could go on fire. Someone could like score a touchdown, and you could like push them out and be like, "Shut up!" Like, it's amazing. I love that shit. And my number 1, and I agree with people, is GoldenEye 007. I had a lot of good memories with this with my cousins. Having golden gun fights, having rocket launcher fights, having the little watch laser fights, the knife throw fights. It's such a fun multiplayer experience I had back in the day, and I really like how the people look like when you shoot them. It's just fun. I really like it. It's just very fun. And there you go. I agree with that one too. Surprising, GoldenEye 007. Now, let's get to one of my favorite years of the 90s, 98. Let's go. 98. Let's go. And the general public, basically everyone and their mother again, will agree that the number 1 game of 1998 is going to be Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And this one's really hard to debate if it doesn't deserve the spot, because honestly it really does deserve the spot. It did a lot of good and right. It was a very good move by Nintendo, and the 3D adventuring and exploring, the puzzle solving, and of course the horses. Like, I love this game. It's good, but it's not like my top game of all time, but I really like what it did. So anyways, that was that, and let's get to 98 of what I picked. And I got so much for 98, so fucking much for 98. So I gotta even count this. Holy shit, it's like a Chinese scroll over here. I got 6 honorable mentions, 3 runner-up, and my number 1. Damn. Alright, so one of my honorable mentions is Bust a Move 4, because that's my favorite puzzle game of all time. I love Bust a Move 4. Didn't make the runner-up, but I truly love like this puzzle game. I'm not the biggest fan of puzzle games, but I think this is my number 1 of all time. Played on a demo disc, fun shit. Then my second one is Rugrats Search for Reptar. Probably didn't hold up that well, but man, I have so much memories with this game. And it had like one of the creepiest pop-up scares of all time. Like, it's really creepy, because in this game you don't expect that shit. You expect like a cutesy Rugrat cartoon, like what it's like to be a baby, whatever. But man, there is something really scary in this game. But yeah. The next is Mario Party, the first one. This is such a great way to introduce this series. Like, it's not as good as other parties, but just the idea alone that they came up with this idea, that's why this game's awesome. This was like what happened. This was like what made it to be. Like, such a great idea from Nintendo back then. I love it. And then Metal Gear Solid for the PS1. Even graphically nowadays, it actually looks pretty good still. This really changed a lot of how games looked back then. Like, once you saw, like, when I saw Metal Gear the first time, the PS1, I thought it was like real life as a kid. Like, I'm like, damn, this, like, how do graphics get better than this? Like, that's insane. And when I look at it now, it's just hilarious, but that's beside the point. And then another honorable mention is Spyro the Dragon. I think Frankie Muniz voiced them back then. I could be wrong, but I like the voice actor a lot of the original Spyro a lot. And just a very memorable game. Highly recommend that to Fox and Cloud if you never played it. Definitely try that one out one day. And then my last one is Banjo-Kazooie. I wish it made the runner-up, but it just didn't make it. But it was very close. I like Banjo-Kazooie a lot. Played it twice in my life, start to finish. And that final boss fight's hard. But yeah, Banjo-Kazooie, definitely check it out. It controls better than Mario 64, but I think Mario 64 is more fun to play overall. Like, personally. But Banjo-Kazooie is a game that you shouldn't overlook if you like 3D platformers, let me tell you. Alright, now let's get to my 3 runner-ups. My third runner-up is Ocarina of Time. I will pick it over Banjo-Kazooie. I will. It is, like, more fulfilling, that game. It feels like you accomplish more in that game, like what you do in it. Because I almost beat that whole game without using a walkthrough, by the way. I had to use it like twice. Once on the water temple and once to find something. The rest I basically figured out everything, and I felt smart solving puzzles, so it was interesting. It was just fun. It was a good game overall. But it's not like top 100 of all time or anything. You see, people are being like, no, fuck it. Yeah, see, I don't think it's top 100. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, Resident Evil 2 is my number 2. I picked that over Ocarina of Time, right? Because I like Resident Evil 2. Leon, sorry. I mean, that's awesome. And it's like, 808. You can't beat that. That's just me, though. I like zombies more than Ocarina. Okay, on to the next one. Oh, and then my boy, Dingo Dial, Whip Out the Butter. It's time to make toast. Crash Bandicoot 3 is my first runner-up. This game almost was Game of the Year, but something beat it, and I really wanted Crash 3 to win, but oh well. And I really need the Crash motorcycle jacket one day with Dingo Dial on the back. Oh, I need it so bad with the flamethrower and everything. Time to make toast. Can't wait. My number 1 for 98 is gonna be Street Fighter Alpha 3. This is probably my favorite Street Fighter of all time. It's either that or Turbo Hyper Fighting Street Fighter 2. It's hard between the two. I'm leaning a little more towards Street Fighter Hyper Fighting 2, but this is like neck to neck. Like Street Fighter Alpha 3, the soundtrack, the art style, this game is so good. Street Fighter 2, that edition by the way, and this game Street Fighter Alpha 3, they're just beautiful. Just fucking beautiful. So beautiful. They're just beautifully made games. That's all I can say. Love fighting games. And this is one that everyone should check out if you're a fighting game fan. And now we're going to end the year with 1999 after this. And then I'll say what the year of the decade was for me. And then we'll start 2000s in our next video. Let's go to 1999. Let's end the 90s with 1999, boys and girls. Alright. So, this one's very interesting to me. Like, this one's very interesting. So, for 1999, a lot of reviewers and critics said, like, The Sims should have won this, by the way. But when I look up online what the actual release date was, even the earliest, it said February of 2000. So I'm like, no, that doesn't fucking win. 99. And the next one in line was surprising. But the runner-up for it was Final Fantasy VIII. This is not a bad game. It's interesting. It gets boring after like 5-6 hours into it. And I feel bad because High Five Ghost loves this RPG. I like it. It's just, I don't know, it loses its grip on me over time, sadly. But I really like the beginning parts of it for some reason. I thought it was cool. But the game of the year people decided for 1999, besides The Sims, because that does not count to me, because that's 2000, is Donkey Kong 64. I thought that was so freaking weird. Like, Donkey Kong 64? I don't hear anyone really talk about this game, like, being game of the year, and I just thought that was surprising. And that's just the best of what my research could do. If I'm proven wrong, please tell me what would be next in line, but that's the best I could do when I can find it. Alright, and now to go to my 1999, I got 2 honorable mentions, 3 runner-ups, and the winner, of course. And one of my honorable mentions is Army Men 3DO. You basically play as like those Toy Story Army Men sort of people, and it's just like, it's like a brutal game. Like, you can melt their plastic off of like tanks and flamethrowers and bombs, and it was an interesting game. I really liked it, actually. I wish I could play it again. Army Men 3DO. That was a fun game. And then I had a game called Cool Borders 4. That was an interesting game that I haven't played in a while either. Probably didn't hold up well, but man, I had a lot of good memories with that one too. Cool Borders 4. Now my top 3. Are you smiling? We're almost done with the night. Yeah. Shit, I just passed up. Alright, so my I'm sorry. So my 3 runner-ups were Mario Party 2 and number 3. Definitely better than the first game, but that's it. And I like the costumes. That's really all I gotta say about 2, because I think Mario Party 3, 4, 5, and 6 kick its ass, but 2 is still good. I'm sorry, Pops. And then, then my second runner-up is Toy Story 2 Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue. Let's go, boys! And dude, Toy Story 2 Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue, this game is so awesome with its music. I love it. And there's like this really funny tree part in Andy's Neighborhood. Great song, by the way. When you climb this big ass tree, and it's easy to fall off. And once you fall off, Buzz does like this fall animation, and he can fall for like, I don't know, 8 seconds or so. He's like, whoa, whoa, and it's amazing. He keeps saying whoa. Oh, it's so good. And then my number 1 runner-up is Tekken Tag Tournament, because it's fucking Tom and it's fucking Tekken, and you could tag people in and out. I mean, you can't argue that with my brain. I'm just like fighting games, fighting games, fighting games. It's like, oh, this game's better, Skyrim, but it's like fighting games, fighting games. That's just how I am, though, because I love fighting games. But my number 1 for 1999, which is a fighting game, is Super Smash Bros. 64. Super Smash Bros. 64 is the most intense polygon fighting game of all time. For like the N64, like just like everything before, like this game destroyed all fighting games. Was this game right here, Super Smash Bros. 64? I love this game. Well, besides the Tekkens, but that's besides the point. This game is so good. This is what introduced me to different Nintendo franchises too. So that was cool. Even though I started with Melee, I really loved N64 Smash Bros. And that's it. Let's get to the early 2000s. And the game of the decade for me, for this year, for this decade, so from 1990 to 99, I think the strongest one for me, personally, is definitely 98 or 94. 98 or 94 is my favorite overall. And, oh, actually, no, 98, 96, and then 94. Yeah, that's just me, though. Anyways, stay classy, always eat your pizza. Actually, all the even numbers of the 90s is my favorite, but 98 is definitely the strongest. Stay classy and always eat your pizza. Boom chocolate, let's get to the 2000s in the next video. Woohoo!